morning. We have a great program for you. Wanted to tell everybody you have a good Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming up quickly. Remember the boy brought kids and others that was fortunate. Our first person today is, you gonna do it first? Yes. Miss Elizabeth, come on up.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Oldham, and I own Salon and Day Spa here in town. I moved here from Todd County when I was 17 years old to attend the beauty college over here. We have two beauty colleges in Madisonville, and I attended the one across the parking lot here. It's Head's Beauty College. I actually met my husband while I was in beauty school, and that's what prompted me to stay in Hopkins County, and I've been here ever since. That's 1990 was when I moved here. Let's see. After beauty college, I had no card, sorry. I was afraid I might forget something. I went to work on the other side of the wall here at Guys and Dolls. I don't know if you all remember that place. That was Vera and Gary Harlan. And I worked as an assistant to Gary for over a year. And that was a really good experience, and I learned a lot from him. After that year was over, is when I went to work for Leah Dole at the time. She owned Blade's Hair and Tanning Salon. And I had a long, devoted career with her for over 12 years. She actually was really good to me. And so when her husband actually relocated to Wisconsin with his job, he worked for GE, so we were devastated when that happened. After working 12 years for her and having such a great experience, we were kind of at a loss as to what we were going to do. And there were probably myself and 4 or 5 other stylists that really did not have a clue as to what was going to happen. So in a way, it was sort of a blessing that was how it all ended up, because my point in my career, I had decided that I had kind of outgrown the commission. Booth renting, all of that stuff was a big deal. I felt like I needed to go booth rent because I had grown that much in my career. However, Leah, the situation that she had in her salon was strictly a commission rate salon. So when she did announce that she was going to be closing the salon and leaving, that kind of opened up an opportunity for me to kind of pursue different areas in my career. But anyway, so she just kind of sped that process up for me when she closed her doors. So that left us with finding somewhere else to go work. And we then moved across town to another salon. Let's see, it didn't go so well. We were there. For about a year. It was myself and some of the stylists that had left, from Leah's place, and we were there for a year. And I think that was really my first indication that not everybody was fair or reasonable, or really even healthy for that matter. I got a phone call on my day off from the girls that worked in the salon announcing that we didn't have a place to work anymore. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday morning. And so my husband and I drove into town. We actually lived on the outskirts of Madisonville at that time. So we drove into town and we loaded all of our hairstyling stuff in the back of the truck and didn't have a place to work. I made a phone call to Dr. Stinnett at that time to see if he had done anything with the spot that we had been in on South Main. And he hadn't, thank the Lord. And I don't know why he even was willing to do this, because I didn't have any money. I didn't have really anything to do. I was I knew I had 6 people that were looking to me for direction. I had clients and appointments that we had to take care of. So Dr. Stinnett met me on South Main and handed me the keys, and seriously had no clue why he did that, because I did not have a dime to give him, but he did. Anyway, I acquired a silent partner at that time within about an hour after loading all of our equipment. We opened for business 24 hours later with a borrowed shampoo bottle. and that's
Wow.
how we started. So we worked there for 4 years like that, and you know, and it went well. It was different. I mean, I had a lot of people that put a lot of faith into me and our skills, and so after 4 years working there, we decided to purchase a building on North Main, which allowed us to expand our services to a spa, full service salon and spa. We've now been there for almost 6 years. I have over 10 employees, including myself. It's kind of a unique situation because we have a booth renting situation there, along with a commission situation and an hourly rate. Because like I said, we do have the 2 beauty schools here in town, and I try to hire out of the beauty schools and train that way. So it works well. A lot of people didn't think it would work, but I had a lot of people that really did think it would work and put a lot of faith in me. So I have a lot of people to thank. I couldn't do it without my family. I couldn't do it without my parents, my husband. We're the maintenance, we're the plumbers, we are the, you know, we're the complaint department, we're it all. So that's how I got to be me, and that's what we do.
Questions?
I promise you I'd ask some. Because I'm so dependable in that department. What fascinates me is how different your setup is from most salons, the way you run that. What made you decide to do that, other than the fact that you yourself did not want to do the commission basis so much anymore? Because it's a very dynamic matrix that you have between people that are hourly, people that are commission basis, people that are rentals.
Well, I just felt like in order for everybody to be happy and everybody to be able to grow, we had to have some sort of situation like that. When I came out of beauty school, most salons, well, all salons in this town, with an exception of one, they were commission salons. I mean, that was the only option that you had. It took me probably 3 years to build a clientele to where I actually was making money. And I just remember sitting, you know, day after day, night after night, and not having anything in my chair. And if you didn't have something in your chair, you're not making money. And that's very discouraging. And I just felt like that was what you had to do in order to grow. I mean, you had to have that beginning level, and you had to have that medium level, and then you had to have that opportunity, because you can't keep people in your salon if people aren't happy and making money. So that just had to be that way.
It did answer my question.
It's quite a journey, and obviously some parts of it, like most of our stories, you know, went well. Others not so well. And we obviously learned from those. The ability to recruit the people to come in and work at Blaze and be stable and good people to have there. Is that a big challenge for you?
The seasoned stylists that I have in the salon have been with me. Some have been there for 18 years. And I say with me, we worked alongside each other.
Right.
I have some that have been there 15, 10, 12, you know. So those people are my family, and they're the ones that are there, and I know they're going to be there. The thing that I find hard to handle or work with is the new ones that come in. I do have a hard time keeping them motivated, and I'm not real sure what that is. I don't know if it's generational or if it's something that I'm not doing correctly, but I do have more of a turnover as far as the newer people that come in. But I'm not sure how to change that.
Do you have a shortage of the pipeline of new people coming in, or to be able to bring in when you do have an opening? Or you got
I
plenty of those?
constantly have people that come to me with resumes and want jobs, and a lot of beauty school students that contact me that want to shadow me. I mean, that's a constant thing. It's just finding that quality, that that next person that really can step up and take on the responsibility. Because what we do is, it's a passion mostly, but it is not an easy job. I mean, you know, the skill level is one thing, and then the customer service is another. I mean, it's a demanding, it's not easy to do, and you have to have that certain mindset to be able to do that. So.
What I've noticed, Elizabeth, with a lot of the young people that come through our store, and they're going to go to cosmetology school, and when you talk to them about it, they've never been out really and talked to somebody like yourself,
Right.
you know, about going into cosmetology school. And I don't think they really understand what a hard job that is. And you and I have talked about the fact that in your business, after having been there 18 years, but if you make money, it's because you have people sitting in your chair.
Right.
I mean, you might obviously make money from the salon, but still.
Right.
And do you ever get asked to go out to the high schools or anything like that to talk about a career in cosmetology and what it entails?
Yes, ma'am. I have done several different work programs that they have at the school. Lots of times, and that's another thing, the schools, the actual beauty schools do have like a shadow day, and they can come in and see those kinds of things, but still I don't think the reality of it is there for them. I don't know. I knew that this was the career I wanted to go into when I was in middle school, probably. And that's what I mean about it being a passion. It's just sometimes people think, oh, it's fun. I get to do hair. I can use the curling iron, and I can fix, make everybody pretty. That's what, and it's more to it than that. So much more to it than that. And I don't think people really understand that.
You have the same problem that I think many other businesses have, regardless of the profession. I ran a refrigeration business for a long time. At least you have a pipeline. Finding a good refrigeration service tech is, you don't have a pipeline. You go through a few that you say you want to do it, but again, there's a long learning curve. But I guess what it comes down to is, like you say, your passion. You go through a bunch of people, and not everybody is motivated with the same thing. We may have had some people wanting to be cosmetologists who were trying to be a refrigeration tech. They just got to find their niche, and that wasn't it. So that might be where all of this is, because I think that's pretty typical with every business. You just go through a lot of people before you find somebody that just kind of lights a fire under them, and they found their spark, and they want to do it.
I think that's right.
But it's not bad people. It's just, you got to pick one.
You're exactly right.
How did you move from just doing hair to deciding you wanted to create a more spa habits?
Well, my mom had a lot to do with that. She and I used to do what we've done spa days together, and she's actually here, and I'm very proud of her, so I want everybody to know she's here. But we had done things like that, and she does a lot of that kind of stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that makes her feel really good. And I wanted to be able to have those services. But anyway, that just allowed us, once we moved, it allowed us with the space to be able to provide those services.
Was it hard to find?
Very, very hard to find.
To do those extra services?
To do, when you're dealing with those types of services, and you're putting people in closed doors, and so you have to have really good people to be, to trust in those situations. So yes, it is very hard to find employees to do those types of services, and that's been one of the things that I've had a hard time making the public aware of the fact that we aren't just a hair salon anymore. We do the spa services. The massage therapy has grown rapidly. It's kind of building on the other services, but it's all coming together, and I'm very proud of what we have. So,
You and I have talked about your growth and when you started out to where you are now. Maybe you could explain a little bit or go into a little bit more detail on that feast or famine when the chair's empty. Because if you're not at the chair, if you're outside selling, you're not at your chair able to cut. So you're in a kind of unique situation that not all business owners know how to deal with. You know, how do you market out when you have to be at your chair to cut the hair?
Well, and Ms. Sharon and I actually talked about this just the other day. If I still operate all day, every day as a stylist behind the chair. So it is a really fine line of how to handle all of those situations because like I said, I'm the complaint department. I order the inventory. I do have two really good managers that really help me out. And everything that I do, I could not do without those people that are in the salon. I mean, it could work just fine without me there. It really could. Now I'm a control freak and I'm gonna be there, and I mean that's just the way it is. But really, I couldn't do what I do without everyone else that's in the salon. But if I am away from the salon, or I actually schedule Tuesdays are my day off, that's the day I don't schedule appointments. So anything that I have to do are done on those days, you know, because if there's no one in my chair, there is no money that's coming into my pocket. I have 7 booth running positions, 2 commissioned stylists, and an hourly employee. They're all licensed to do the services that we provide, but that's just the level that I have them set up on. So maybe I make a little money if I don't have somebody in the chair, but that's where my money is what's in my chair.
That's the sign of a successful business, when you can take the owner out of it for a little while and everything runs smoothly.
And it does.
When you get a business that is so small that the owner has to be there. Now, that one is struggling and it's going to be difficult to be successful until they reach that level. There's a lot of people independent that are making a good living for themselves.
Elizabeth, you might want to tell them what you do with your business cards when you're out, you know.
Well, I mean, my family has my business cards, and when we go to a restaurant and we have a good meal, we leave a tip, I leave a business card. When I was in beauty school, straight out of beauty school, I had no clientele, and I went to Walmart and I put my business card in those color boxes in the color aisle down, you know, I mean, because I knew if they didn't need it then, they were going to need it later. So, I mean, I did everything. My business card is I mean, that is the truth. I mean, that's what I did. But the building the business part, the ones that come to me and they say, I can't build business, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. I moved here, I knew no one when I moved here. That's not true. I had an aunt that lived here. But basically, I knew no one, and I built a business in 4 years, and it can be done, and it's hard for me. I don't feel sorry for people that say I can't build business, because that's just baloney.
Well, what I wanted to ask you about, because I don't know whether I should admit this or not, but I bought a beauty salon at one point. It's the worst decision I ever made in my life. And after about 2 years, I thought, this is not the business for me. But what I found very taxing are the regulations, the state regulations in the cosmetology industry. How do you, at one time you could do anything with a cosmetology license. Now, I mean, estheticians, I mean, are there different rules and different schools and thoughts on, because you are a full service salon now, so an esthetician is definitely different than a cosmetologist, or should be. How does that work now?
Well, I mean, you're right. Everything is different. As all of our skin and that type of thing. However, everything she does, I'm trained to do. Now, I don't specialize in those things, but legally, I can do everything that she does. So, I mean, does that answer your question?
So that's still the same?
It is still the same.
That's still the same. And with booth rental, I mean, I was gonna go into the booth rental business, but even as an owner of the salon, I couldn't manage that because I wasn't a cosmetologist. Is that still the same way
It
too?
is still the same. And the booth renting situation that we have is a little different than most booth renting salons here. Since we mesh everything, the commission, the hourly, and the booth rental, you know, I provide more things than the typical booth renting salon owner does. The back bar, which is the shampoo and the conditioners that you use at the bowl, I provide all of that. Now, their booth rent is increased in price because of that. Typically, if you were in your standard booth renting salon, you would walk into work and you would have nothing. It would just be an empty room and they would say, there you go. That's not the case in mine because you can't mesh all of those different types of employees or independent contractors and not have some of those things to be, you know, for everyone to use. So, because you just can't do that. But, so I guess it is, my situation is kind of, you know, it is really different than most.
Well, I would like to congratulate